much so.
So the next dream I want to bring up is one I had here in October 2nd, 2023. And in my dream, I saw a basketball court. The court was crowded with, 1 second here. Sorry. The court was crowded with players. So even though the basketball court is for a game, obviously between two opposing teams, I noticed that everyone on the court was actually on the same team. So these players, I knew they were highly trained, they were skilled, they seemed unstoppable. And I knew that they had dominated the court for a very long time. I also knew that these players were working for an agenda of darkness. And it's interesting how you know these things in dreams. It's like I had revelation. I didn't know necessarily exactly who they were, but I understood they were like powerful people working for an agenda of like evil and darkness. And in fact, in the dream, I could actually see it was like shadows were covering most of their faces. And I really felt like God said, this is the shadow government. This is the deep state. This is what you're seeing. So suddenly in the dream, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a man walk onto the court. I immediately discerned that the dominant team on this court did not respect this guy or consider him any threat. He looked like large, like very like slow, large and slow and very unassuming. When the man stood on the court, they gave him the ball and they laughed and mocked. At this point, I somehow knew that the man's name was Illuminate.
Interesting.
That's a cool name.
Yeah. People don't know we actually have one of our producers for ElijahFire is named Illumination, so that's a cool name.
Yes, I love Illumination. She's awesome.
That's a cool name.
I'm thinking in this dream, I'm not done with the dream, but I'm thinking, interesting. It's like God's going to illuminate the Illuminati. I don't know. It's like,
that's probably totally it. And it's interesting. They're all in the court together, which means it's just like a whole conspiracy of, even the courts are part of their plan, the wicked courts, the compromised courts and all that.
Absolutely. Yep. The courts, the judges, the rulers, all of that. And I watched this man named Illuminate take off down the court, which was crowded and covered by all of the players. I was amazed in the dream at what looked like supernatural skill by Illuminate to outmaneuver every defender, causing them to fall, trip, slip, etc. It was chaos. Illuminate was, dominating them. It was like, boom, he would go here and every defender, they couldn't stop him. Illuminate began to dominate the whole court. As I watched, I saw that Illuminate made it his goal to circle. It was his goal. He circled every single player and defender on the court.
Really?
And the crowd began to cheer as everyone saw that Illuminate had broken through what everyone believed was an impossible opponent. So the dream ended there. And when I woke up, I heard the Spirit of the Lord say, I'm going to illuminate the shadow government and players and remove their domination over the laws and governance of nations.
Yes, Lord. So good.
And so, I believe, I feel like God is saying that, whether Illuminate is just a prophetic picture of what God's going to continue to do, like shine light, or maybe Illuminate is literally an angel. I don't know. But either way, the Lord is going to continue, I believe, to release light. He's going to circle every player. He's going to shine light. There is no more shadow that is safe. No more darkness as a refuge. No more refuge of lies. It's being swept away. The courts, the rulers, those on on the field, those on the court are going to be exposed who they are, and they aren't going to be able to stop what God's doing. And so the other thing is, I believe we're going to be shocked to see how much the deck was stacked against we the people by so many shadow players. And the thing about the shadows is that they have provided enough of a veil and cover for these operators to function with dominance. But if there's no more shadows available, they can no longer operate. And I believe God is about to illuminate the shadows, and the cockroaches will be exterminated from their places of dark refuge.
Love that. Love that. Oh,
And
good to I love it. The cockroaches, oh man, will be exterminated. That's an apt metaphor, or whatever we call that, that they're no better than a cockroach before God and before us, before those who are righteous.
exactly. And when the light comes, it's chaos for the cockroaches. It's like
they run, don't they?
Oh my goodness. And I believe the Lord wants us to be encouraged, even in the midst of what's happening right now across the earth. All the chaos. So much of it, I believe, is related to God beginning to release His light into all the shadows. Things are coming to light, to the surface like never before. And again, we got to be watchful and prayerful about this. But the good news in all of this is that darkness is now being uncovered and exposed like never before. So the thing about this dream is that the court had players on it dressed from several different teams. So I think this is interesting. Yet I knew that ultimately they operated in loyalty to one shadow team or agenda. And so I really feel like He's going to unveil where, we're kind of like confused at times. We're looking at people in the government. We're looking at people in different places, and we're like, wait, we thought you were a good guy. We thought this about you. We thought this about you. And it's, being exposed that no, they actually were a part of one larger shadow governance. They were working for an agenda that had nothing to do with what they were actually representing. And so I think God's going to continue to reveal that more and more.
Did you have any kind of sense of, what's the word, the number or volume of the enemy of the deep state compared to the masses of God's people, or whatever? Or were they small but just pretending to be large, or was it a mighty evil army? What did you sense as far as this evil?
Great question, Steve. Let me answer it this way, and I'll say, in the dream, I had the sense that it's not like they're just everywhere. I mean, there's a large number of deep state operators, assets, all of that. But in comparison to we the people, to those who are serving the Lord, who want righteousness, truth, and justice to prevail, they're a small number. But the fact is, they had power and control because they were operating from the shadows. What they were doing wasn't seen or visible, so you really couldn't get your hand on it. But that's where I think God's saying all of that is now changing. I'm removing their hiding places. It's going to be impossible for them to operate because where they gained their power from and their ability to operate was in the places of shadows.
Well, that's interesting, because one of my concerns is that when they get exposed, because we're aware that there's tunnels throughout the earth that they could be hiding in. And then my concern is, well, what if they just all scatter like cockroaches into some tunnels that we know nothing about, and just bide their time for a year or two, and then when no one's looking, they all come out and begin to infiltrate and go right back to work. But I mean, you're saying you're getting a different picture than that. You're saying God's removing their hiding places. This is like an absolute physical reality. They're going to run out of hiding places.
Yeah, I take great courage from this, or encouragement from this dream, because I actually believe that, again, how do you take dreams sometimes? Well, I'm just weighing it before the Lord. I think illuminate, it might represent an assignment out of heaven. This is what God's doing right now. He's illuminating everything. But I also believe that there might quite possibly be an entity, an angelic warrior or supernatural power loosed from the Lord that illuminates everyone that's on the court. Every player that has joined against God and his people. It's Psalm 2. Be warned, you rulers. Be warned, you kings. Be warned, you judges. I believe that this is part of that there is going to be nowhere. He's the Lord of heaven. He's the Lord of earth. He's the Lord of those under the earth. There is
Well, you know,
nowhere.
even if it's a being, right? Even if it's a specific angel or a being, the source of its light is the Lord himself, who is in him. There is no darkness at all. In him was the light, and the light was the light of men. At the very least, that source of that light is Jesus. But if it's a different entity, like an angel or a principality from heaven, a good principality, a good power, however heaven does that, it all comes from the Lord himself, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's an encouraging, to me, it's a very encouraging dream.
Yeah, it is.
I think that we just continue to pray it. We declare over America's laws, over the justice system, the courts, state governments, local governments, that God is sending his truth and his light to illuminate every shadow, every place of corruption, every control factor coming out of shadow, dark control places. We just continue to pray this. And here's something I say this, that, hey, let's decree that the operators in the shadows have lost their dominion. And we decree. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to say this right now. We decree that God is sending forth the angels of illumination to uncover every player that's been set against America and we the people. And we decree that the shadow league is being illuminated by the truth and the light of the Lord.
Yes, Lord.
And we decree over America's laws, courts, and governance that he is sending his truth and light to illuminate every place of darkness in Jesus' name.
Yes, Lord. Let it be.